Hey guys, thanks for joining us. Today we're going to talk about our 5 favorite Bigfoot films. Check it out. Number 5 on our list is Big Legend. Released in 2018 and directed by Justin Lee, Big Legend is the story of an ex-Army Ranger, Tyler Laird, who has his fiancée stolen from right under his nose by a Bigfoot while they are camping in the Gifford-Pinchot National Forest. Understandably shaken up by this, Tyler gets right back out there and tries to find her. In his first 12 hours back in the Gifford-Pinchot, he finds a Bigfoot footprint, gets his bag swiped by a Bigfoot, and then attacked in his Jeep by a Bigfoot. He gets more Bigfoot activity in one day than the whole Finding Bigfoot series.
Bigfoot walks up and pours milk in it!
He then meets a hunter, Eli. They go squatching together and get into all kinds of shenanigans. Tyler falls into a bone pit and finds his fiancée Ring in some Bigfoot scat. Super gnarly. And then Bigfoot throws a rock and totally jacks up Eli's leg. So, at this point, things really start popping off. After stumbling through the woods and evading Bigfoot for a few days, Eli eventually gets munched on by Bigfoot, and that brings it down to a face-off between the Army Ranger and Sasquatch Danger. And as you may have guessed, they have an epic duel. This movie is good. I wouldn't say it's great, but it's good. James Mackley seems like a cool enough dude. He reminds me of like a Bradley Cooper light. He probably won't deliver the caliber of performance of American Sniper, but he'll hand you a decent Bigfoot movie. He also has a Bigfoot encounter of his own that inspired the movie. You can check it out on the Flash of Beauty's YouTube channel. So the Eli character throws things off a bit, and he calls Tyler Chief way too much. His character can almost pull you out of the movie completely, but if you can get past him, it's worth a watch. The movie includes themes that interest us on this channel: Bigfoot, missing persons, and the PNW. The Bigfoot creature is good. It's not CGI, which is a huge plus, and you get a decent look at it. So, all in all, I'd say Big Legend is definitely worth a watch. Number 4 on our list is Primal Rage. Released in 2018 and directed by Patrick McGee, Primal Rage is about a recently reunited couple that has to navigate the PNW wilderness while being stalked by extremely violent Bigfoots. With barely even a chance to catch up properly after their time apart, Ashley and Max find themselves in a Survivor Man scenario. Against all odds, they avoid hypothermia and wander the PNW woods lost. They eventually run into a group of unconvincing hunters who are huge a-holes to them, quite frankly for no reason. But to be fair, the hunters' main purpose in this film is to serve as cannon fodder for Bigfoot. So, after more wandering, the Bigfoots do just start smoking dudes left and right. And I mean, really wrecking fools. If you're into the gore thing, you will like these scenes. Bigfoot is a hardcore killer and kinda creepy. Anyways, Ashley and Max narrowly avoid death while others around them aren't so lucky. There's a side plot with a sheriff and his deputy investigating missing persons in the area, which all ties into the Bigfoots. There's a crazy witch lady. They go into the background info and the legend on the Bigfoots, and there's a lot of cool scenes and visuals in this film. I think everything was shot really well. So this movie too is good, but not great. I will say the Bigfoot creatures are amazing. You get to see them a lot, and they created these Bigfoot creatures to use camouflage and tools, which I thought was a very cool take on Bigfoot. The special effects are impressive, and everything looks real. Casey Gagliardi, who plays Ashley, nails her character perfectly. Andrew Joseph Montgomery, who plays Max, not quite as good as Gagliardi, but he gets the job done. The hunters, however, are rather unbelievable and pretty annoying. They are over the top and don't really make any sense in the story. Like Eli in Big Legend, you'll need to tough it out through their lines and just wait for them to all get smoked by the Bigfoot so you can move on with the movie. If you don't take Primal Rage too seriously, it's a good Bigfoot slasher thriller set in the PNW. I think you'll enjoy it.
If there's any cryptid that could beat a Bigfoot in a fight, first off, I don't know if that's possible, but if it was, I would have to think it's the Mothman.
Next on our list, number 3, is The Man Who Killed Hitler and then The Bigfoot. Released also in 2018 and directed by Robert Krakowski. This film is probably not what you'd expect by the title, at least style-wise. Personally, I was expecting something much more silly and ridiculous. Instead, The Man Who Killed Hitler and then The Bigfoot is serious and well acted. It's a deep film. I think it's wonderful. The film itself does not even have that much to do with Bigfoot. I'd even go as far as to say that it's not what most people would dub as a Bigfoot movie. So the movie, the storyline, it follows Calvin, played by none other than Sam Elliott, who is living out the end of his life in a quiet town with his dog. We get insightful flashbacks all throughout the film showing us how Calvin was an elite US soldier who assassinated Hitler in World War II. We find out about his journey and his love interest. Bouncing back between the past and his life current day, the film has many beautiful shots and thought-provoking moments. While we are getting to know Calvin, eventually it brings us up to the point where the government approaches him with a mission, and you guessed it, that mission is to kill the Bigfoot. So, of course, Calvin eventually accepts this mission and goes on an epic journey and ends up totally blasting Bigfoot and taking him out. I really like this film. Sam Elliott, along with everyone else, quite frankly, does a superb job. It's moving and it really pulls you in. There's plenty of nuance and room for interpretation as well. For example, one film theory proposes that the man who shaved him before his mission to kill Hitler, the man who shaved his face, cursed them both and is actually the Bigfoot in the end that Calvin battles. How this dude morphed into a Bigfoot, I don't know, but if you look into that film theory, it makes a lot of sense. Another compelling theory is that the film is actually an allegory for Calvin in his old age having dementia. One downside I will say, however, of this film is the Bigfoot creature is not great. I mean, at least if you expect them to follow modern Bigfoot culture and stay accurate to eyewitness reports, there isn't much about this creature that screams Bigfoot. But, you know, I've never come face to face with one, so who am I to judge? Who really knows what Bigfoot up close looks like? Still, if you took the Bigfoot creatures from Primal Rage or Big Legend and put them in place of the Bigfoot in this film, I think it would have improved it a lot. All in all, this movie is great. Absolutely recommend it. Do not let the title scare you away. Number 2 on the list, Letters from the Big Man. Letters from the Big Man was directed by Christopher Munch and released in 2011. This film, unlike our others on the list, is not a thriller or slasher. It is a story of a young lady named Sarah who, while getting over a bad breakup and working alone in the forest of the PNW, Oregon specifically, discovers Bigfoot. The film portrays Bigfoot as a gentle and calm forest creature. The Bigfoot actually is basically the good guy in this film. The creature's costume is excellent, and you get to see him quite a bit. The acting is flawless by everyone, but especially Lily Rabe, who single-handedly carries the film on her shoulders, which she basically had to do as the main character. Many scenes are just her, and many scenes don't even have lines. You know, she does such a convincing job that you'd think Lily Rabe must have a lot in common with her character Sarah, because she just so effortlessly and effectively nails the performance. I wouldn't be surprised if when they wrote it, they wrote the character of Sarah for Lily Rabe. The film touches on themes of healing, moving on, environmentalism, and spirituality, and of course, Bigfoot. The soundtrack of this film threw me off at first, but after the second or third time watching, I really enjoy the choice. It's very unique, and it just works. So, this film is definitely worth a watch. Just know going into it that it is a drama, and it's not an action-packed thriller like most Bigfoot movies. Have an open mind, maybe meditate beforehand, and I think you'll love it.
Well, he was what I would call a Sasquatch.
And for our number one favorite Bigfoot movie, it is Willow Creek. Released in 2013 and directed by Bobcat Goldthwait, this awesome found footage style film stars Alexis Gilmore as Kelly and Bryce Johnson as Jim. Kelly and Jim are a couple traveling to Willow Creek to visit the film site of the gold standard in Bigfoot evidence, which is the Patterson-Gimlin film. Jim is a huge Bigfoot nerd, and Kelly, his girlfriend, is basically going along just to be a good sport. What I like so much about this film is it mixes fiction with true events and real people. For example, the story of Kelly and Jim is a fictional one, but Willow Creek, the Patterson-Gimlin film, and many of the people they interview are real aspects of the Bigfoot community. For example, Tom Yamarone is a well-known Bigfoot musician, and Stephen Stroyfort owns the famous Bigfoot Books bookstore. If you are a Bigfoot enthusiast, you will be pleased with how familiar they were with the Bigfoot culture when filming, which shouldn't be a surprise as Bryce Johnson himself is a prominent person in the Bigfoot world. For example, you can see him nowadays on the show Expedition Bigfoot. Anyways, the storyline is the couple ventures out to make the Bigfoot documentary in the town of Willow Creek. They do some interviews, they visit landmarks and some stores, and then they venture to the actual film site of the Patterson-Gimlin film. Things, of course, get crazy, Bigfoot shows up, and you'll have to watch it to find out the rest. I thought the acting was excellent. Kelly and Jim are super convincing. Everything from casual conversations to the notoriously creepy tent scene, they just nail it. Willow Creek, with their limited budget, even managed to do something the other movies on this list couldn't, which is find a good rural hunter flannel dude or hillbilly stereotype, whatever you want to call it. This guy's performance outdoes Eli and the hunters from Primal Rage easily. Unfortunately, though, you don't get a good look at the Bigfoot creature in this film, but I think everything is done so well, it just really doesn't matter. Willow Creek gets number one on our list because of its Bigfoot cultural accuracy, simple yet captivating storyline, and being truly scary, which even some huge budget thrillers fail to do. I think that Willow Creek really shows you that if you have a good idea, it doesn't take a lot of money to pull something off that ends up being successful and good in quality. I think Bryce Johnson is a gem, and we are lucky to have him on our side in the Bigfoot world. You know, there's the stereotype that Bigfoot researchers are all greasy nerds with boonie caps on and outdated night vision.
I've been ridiculed, laughed at, thrown out of school, everything because of this Bigfoot.
But not Bryce Johnson. This dude is far from that stereotype, and he is a stud. I mean, he recently appeared in Terrifier 3 and Oppenheimer. Bottom line, whether you are a hardcore Bigfooter with a Sasquatch Chronicles membership, or just hold a slight interest in the subject, you will enjoy Willow Creek.
He had gray hair and a gray beard that come down to here. But he had long hair that was yellowish gray.
So that wraps up our video of our top 5 favorite Bigfoot movies. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Now I know there's some that you guys will probably mention in the comments, such as Exists, and of course Harry and the Hendersons. Wonderful movies too. They get our honorable mention. But these top 5 are just what we find to be our personal favorite. Anyways, hope you guys have a good day, and thanks for hanging out. See ya.
This is my Bigfoot.